Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next BizWise lesson. And this is about small talk you use for building professional relationships, ideas of what you can say when you're in the situation at the beginning of a meeting while people are waiting before everyone joins. You need to make some kind of conversation. And remember, for hours of study material, please do consider joining BizWise English. Right, let's begin. Here we go. Why small talk matters. This is not wasted time. In a professional setting such as a meeting, it creates rapport. It makes meetings feel less like a transaction. It builds trust across teams and certainly across cultures. And it can smooth difficult conversations later if you've got a good rapport, a good relationship with somebody. Then, yes, you can have more complicated conversations later. And all of this is really important in virtual meetings, particularly when there are international global teams and when you're in new working relationships, maybe with new colleagues. Oh, that goes here. Here we are. So, where small talk happens. So, you will usually hear small talk while people are waiting to join a Zoom, a Teams, a Google call, right at the beginning of the meeting, before moving on to the agenda, and while waiting for others. This is your window of opportunity. There are safe topics and topics you must avoid. Safe topics include your general work routines, how's the week looking, travel, business trips, commuting, weather types, yes, we love to talk about the weather, general plans, anything nice for the weekend, and non-sensitive hobbies. So this type of talk, it's light, neutral, and inclusive. So if there's more than two people, you can include everyone. But please avoid politics, money, health issues, and personal conflict. I think that's quite obvious, really. Here's an example before a virtual meeting. All right, so we've got two people, Alex and Maya. Hi, Maya, good to see you. How are things on your side? Oh, busy, but good. We've just finished a big rollout, so things are calmer now. How about you? Oh, similar here. It's been full on, but at least the worst is behind us. The word full on, just for those of you who are not aware of it, it means very, very busy. But notice it's friendly, neutral, work adjacent, and short. Bridging from small talk to work. Some people find this quite difficult, and this is about transitioning smoothly. So, some useful phrases before we get started, while we're waiting. Quick question before everyone joins. Can I quickly check something with you? And these would be very useful. It keeps things natural and not abrupt, but very useful when you want to ask perhaps a work related problem that's just for that person. So you don't want the whole group involved. An example of small talk going into work. Nina, how's everything at your end? Paul, pretty. I did that wrong actually, didn't I? Nina, how's everything going your end? Paul, pretty well, thanks. It's been a busy few days. Nina, same here. While it's just us, could you give me a quick update on the supplier timeline? So this feels polite, professional, efficient. But Nina's just asking Paul that question. She doesn't want to involve everyone. What if we just want to give a light update? So, updating casually, this is not a formal report. We generally use quite soft language, such as things are moving along, we're mostly on track, there's a slight delay but nothing major, we're waiting on one last detail, it's out of our hands for now. So you're not sounding defensive or dramatic. So when Nina asked Paul for a quick update on the supplier timeline, any of these could be used. if you want to ask a friendly follow-up question. So a small talk becomes a conversation when you respond. For example, how's going? What was like? Did you enjoy? How did go in the end? Are you still working on? And these show interest but without pressure. Let's look at some examples. You could say, how's the project going? How's everything going? Work, the rollout, the week. All of these things. How's it going? When you say how is something going, you want a general description. What was like? What was the meeting like? What was the conference like? What was working with the new team like? What was the training like? And of course, in the present, you could say, what is like? What is working with the new team like? Did you enjoy the trip, working on that project, the event, the presentation? How did the meeting go in the end? How did the negotiation go in the end? How did the call with the client go in the end? How did everything go in the end? And finally, are you still working on the project, that report, the timeline, the final details? These are great questions. Now, here's a mini practice. So pause the video and choose a response. If a colleague says, we've had a few changes in the team recently, what could you say? That sounds stressful. Oh, really? How's that going so far? Why didn't management plan better? Now think about which would be a good response. When you're ready, I will give you the answer, and it is B. It's neutral, curious, you're asking for a bit more information, and supportive. Oh, really? How's that going so far? Common small talk mistakes. These are things to avoid. Avoid oversharing personal details. They do not need to know about the disaster you had at the hairdresser's last week. Don't keep complaining. Don't say, oh, it's so terrible, the team this, then the management that. No, avoid it. Don't interrogate people. Don't ask question after question after question. You need to keep the conversation light. Don't just go straight into tasks. Right, let's do the work. Just have a moment. It's only got to be a couple of sentences, but it's about building relationships, and the small talk is all about that. And don't sound uninterested, like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I've got a much more important thing to talk about. Don't sound uninterested or disinterested in what someone is saying. Professional small talk should feel easy, not heavy. So your key takeaways: small talk builds trust. It's especially important online. Keep your topics light and inclusive. Use bridge phrases to move from one small talk section into a work section. And use short, natural phrases. These work best, not great big long explanations. Keep it short and precise and light. Thank you for watching. Now you need to go and practice your small talk. But if you want hours and hours of business English study materials, join Bizwise Professional English, www.bizwiseenglish.com. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching.